Hello everyone, welcome to the Pikeville City Commissioners Report. I'm Jill Fraley-Dotson, your host for today's show. Joining me, Pikeville City Commissioner Steve Hartsock. Good day, Steve.
Happy to be here, Jill.
Happy summer.
Oh,
Isn't
it's
it great?
Great time of year.
It's been a while since we've been together, but certainly the weather has shifted. Events and activities are in full swing, and that's what we're going to talk about today is a lot of different events going on in and around the city and certainly what's to come. One of the big events that we had at the newly named Appalachian Wireless Arena was REO Speedwagon.
Oh yes, it was a great crowd, Jude. You know, I think REO Speedwagon's a lot of bands that you remember songs that they have, but you forgot a lot. And when you go to these concerts, you hear them then, and you have a great time. It's a great time that night.
Takes you back. It was a big concert. Over 4,000 people attended, and like you said, it gives people a chance to kind of take a step back in time and relive some of their youth, so to speak. But one of the great events that the arena puts on, and everybody seemed to have a great time.
They did. It was a great night down there. Just like you said, you hear a lot of songs that you forgot about. You see these people. It was a great time. It
was. One of the newest events that we have in the city of Pikeville is an event called the Jeep Thing, and you'll be corrected if you say thing.
Andy will make sure of it.
And Andy will make sure of it. But it's in collaboration with the East Kentucky Jeep Club, City Events, and of course Appalachian Wireless Arena. And I know you were down there, got to participate a little bit. Tell us about that event.
I did. I was. You know, it kind of went along with Main Street Live on Friday night. It was going back and forth. The weather had a little bit to do with it, of course, but people just had a great time. That's like I said, I was fortunate enough that Andy got one of these guys to take me riding down the track, so I really had a great weekend. Yeah,
and inside the arena, too, they had another event that the kids really got to enjoy.
Yes, the remote control, the rock crawls and all that. Yeah. I think they had like, what, 80 people participated in that, and the kids really enjoyed it.
I know. We went inside for a little bit to watch that too, and I thought, what a fun thing for kids to get to participate. I think they had, like you said, 80 entries. People from 6 different states got to come and enjoy that. But, you know, in the Riverfield, it was really an obstacle course that you wouldn't even imagine with, I think, 70 Jeeps made the trip through. And tell us about how there was a teeter-totter at one point.
There was a teeter-totter. I seen at least one or two. They try to level it out on there, and it is really a tough thing to do. There's no way I could try that. Yeah. But it was fun to try.
And at the end, there was literally a mud bath.
Mud bath, yes. I guess 5-6 feet of water you went down in, and it really splashed you a lot if you're standing there.
Yeah, a lot of people made their way not necessarily to participate that didn't have Jeeps, but came to be a spectator and to really see what it was.
It was fun to watch. I stood down there for hours just watching people do it, and it was a great time.
Yeah, of course, like you mentioned, up on the arena, the Billy Johnson stage, there was live music Friday and Saturday night, so it was really a lot of fun for everybody.
Yes, I was down there on Friday night, and it got rained out, so they took it inside, which there was a great crowd. Everybody had a very good time. Got back on Saturday morning, and the guys from next day was already down there started again. So it's really hard to put two things together going on at the same time, but they really did a great job at it.
The arena staff does a fantastic job. I was there on Saturday night, got to see the pretty weather.
Right, yes.
Went from the Riverfield inside to the bottom of the arena floor, and then certainly upstairs to enjoy food and drinks and music. So big time that weekend. And I do know that preparations are already underway for next year's.
Oh yeah, it'll grow. It'll get bigger. Hopefully the weather will be better, but you can't fight Mother Nature.
You certainly cannot. Well said. I tell you what, but we didn't have to fight Mother Nature on Dinner and White. That was the absolute perfect evening to be downtown for Dinner and White, and this is one of the biggest ones we've ever had.
Yes, at over 400 people. If I've got one regret this summer, I wasn't able to attend this year. I was out of town, but all the pictures and all the stuff I seen, it was great, and the weather was beautiful that night.
It was. That was my first time. You weren't there, but it was my first time attending Dinner and White. We were actually in town. Normally we're gone. But it was a great night, and we had a lot of help too from different groups that are around town. The UPike dancers, from several dancers from the UPike School of Dance came and kind of got the party started, so to speak, and it got everybody up out of their chairs.
Yes, many of them, they do a spectacular job with this. If I've learned one thing working for the city is when Minna puts on something like this, just get out of her way, her and her Main Street staff, and let them do their thing. It will turn out right.
That's exactly right.
I would like to mention, give a big shout out to Brian Morris, though, for letting some of the inmates come and help set this up and take it down, because Brian understands just when the event's over, it's not over till everything's put away and get ready for next year.
Yeah, I know there was a group down there at 7 o'clock that Saturday morning, getting tables ready and getting everything cleaned up, and then after everything was finished, about midnight, they came back out and helped clean up too. And we did have, we do want to mention also that Dueling Barrels and Poly Hollow Distillery were on site there, showcasing their spirits, and it was really nice to have them part of Main Street.
It gives a lot of them a chance to showcase what they got when everybody's together.
It certainly does. It was a really good time. And again, preparations for that are already underway for next year.
Sure.
And don't have any doubt that it'll be bigger and better than this year. I know something that you have really enjoyed attending this year was fishing with the kids, and Chad Webb and his crew took a day and really just made it spectacular for a lot of youth in our area.
Oh, yes. Last year, he had a great turnout, but this year was just overwhelming at the kids and grown-ups that come to this. And what I like about it, after you give them the fishing poles, it's not something they just have to use that day. They can use them all summer or whenever it's convenient for their parents to take them fishing.
Yeah, and it's something, too, that makes them put down the video games and get out from in front of the television or the computer, so to speak, and really get out and enjoy Mother Nature and time with their families and time with their brothers, sisters, and friends. Some of the statistics, 800 fishing poles and tackles were donated by numerous sponsors, including city tourism, but 750 kids with their parents and moms and dads.
They made a family event out of it, and kids, they remember these. They look forward to it every year now. So Chad's a real good friend of mine. I talked to him. I said, if you just keep this growing, we'll grow along with you. The more you get, the more we'll help.
We're always wanting to help people that have events for children, and certainly Chad and his group are doing a phenomenal job, and a very humble guy too.
He is. He wants no credit at all. We given him an award at the last city commission, but he wants to thank all the people that come and help him put it on. So
literally does it for the kids.
Kind of guy he is.
We sure do appreciate Chad. Now, 4th of July was a big time in the city.
It was. The weather turned out great Saturday. We had some doubt. I was up at where they shoot, up Lover's Leap, where they shoot the fireworks. I went up earlier that day just to watch how much work goes into this.
Yeah.
And it's more than just going up there shooting some fireworks. You know, the fire department, police department was there, and the fireworks was great. Our music and stuff all day long at the expo. Well, it started at 7, but everything just run smooth. It was a real enjoyable evening.
I know Jimmy Taylor works very hard to make sure the downtown part of 4th of July runs smoothly, and I know he was just Johnny on the spot. You know, they were cooking at one time, everything opened at 7 o'clock. 1,000 people were fed with barbecue.
Thanks to the VFW, they give it out in UMG for cooking the food. And all the inflatables at the park, the water inflatables, the ones down Main Street, the kids had a great time, which I think everyone did.
I think everyone did too. And music in 2 locations, on the Billy Johnson stage at the arena, and then of course in the gazebo in the park. Gave 2 opportunities for people to hear different kinds of music, and then if you wanted to get wet on the inflatables, you stayed in the park, and then all along Main Street, inflatables were there too. But like you said, UMG and the VFW, and certainly Pepsi, we appreciate them for providing all the drinks for that evening. 4th of July this year, bigger and better than in the past. And I have been told that this year's fireworks, I was not in town for the 4th of July, but this year's fireworks were the best that they had ever been.
I really think so, the best that I can remember. And I know we're not in competition around with other cities doing theirs, but I think we could hang with anybody this year.
I've heard.
It was a spectacular show.
Yeah, I saw some of the video, and it was great. And certainly packing his guys, the Pikeville Police Department and the fire department do a tremendous job. And people really don't realize what a dangerous job that is to let those fireworks go.
That was my first trip up there to watch what goes on, and it really is a lot of work, and it is dangerous work.
It is.
Those guys are great.
They are great. We appreciate them. But now it's time to mark your calendars because we have a lot of upcoming events that will be going on through the month of July and August, all the way into the end of August is what we're going to talk about now. Okay. Pikeville Streetcar Drag Racing Challenge. That gets underway Saturday, July 13th.
This Saturday. We had the Jeep thing last month, so it's been a little while. So I look for the enthusiasts to be really come out in record numbers this weekend.
Certainly so. Drag racing downtown. Test and Tune is at 12, and the racing starts at 4 on the 13th.
Yes.
But the night before, Dueling Barrel is going to celebrate a big birthday.
They are. It's hard to believe it's been a year. I was thinking about it the other day. It don't seem right. So there will be blocking some traffic out from Division to Caroline. And of course, there'll be beer gardens and live music and games out on the 2nd Street. So everyone just come down and have a great time. Yeah,
the giant Jenga and the cornhole always draws a crowd. Rumble in the River Phil, that's going to be July 20th.
Yeah, the street bike racing. You can ride your bikes to town. They're just, once again, there'll be live music. There'll be, always food and drinks. We always eat good and have a lot of drinks at our events, but.
Absolutely. We have food everywhere.
Oh, yes.
It seems like every event we do. Also, the Comic-Con, Comic and Toy Convention, coming to the arena August 2nd and 3rd.
Last year it seemed to go really well, so they wanted to come back, so we'll oblige.
Well, absolutely. So mark your calendars if you want to attend that. And then one of the things that I'm looking really forward to at our new Appalachian Center for the Arts, the $1 Million Quartet. Get your tickets now.
That's something that's going to go real over. The App Center is started up now, and they've got people in the right places. We're going to see a lot more events down there like this now, and they're just going to grow. It's going to be tremendous.
Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, August 8th through the 24th. It's a Tony Award-winning play, and what I love about it, I love Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis, and I love Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins, and they're all together.
Yes, what talent in one room that night. It was.
And it's a true story about the night 1956 when they all came together for what they called a jam session at Sun Studios. So that is going to be something to certainly see in the month of August, the 8th through the 24th at the new Appalachian Center for the Arts in downtown.
Get your tickets now.
Absolutely, get your tickets now. And of course, we do want to let everybody know if they're curious about events coming up. We have our visitpikeville.com website, and of course, our tourism app where you can just download that on your smartphone. And just mark your calendar from there.
Yeah, Jill, one event I would like to remind that they're still working on right now is the First Responder Day will be July 26th in the City Park.
Very good.
So you'll be hearing a lot more of that in the future, but near future, it's not too far off.
Not too far at all. Steve Hartsock, Pikeville City Commissioner, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
This has been the Pikeville City Commissioner's Report. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pikeville City Commissioner's Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dotson. Joining me, Bob Shurtleff, Pikeville City Commissioner. Something we always talk about, Bob, is economic development. And we're going to do that today and talk about some wonderful things that are going on for businesses or businesses that may be to come in the city of Pikeville. So we want to get right to it. Thanks for your time today, first of all. Let's talk about, this is kind of an odd thing for us to do, but something that we talked about a few months ago before I came on board was the position of economic development and how vital it was to Pikeville for our growth, not only in the downtown area, but certainly with our industrial park and looking for tenants there and really marketing that, not here at home, but certainly around the region and around the world. But that is something that we're really looking at. And I came on board May 1st, and that's what my job is. And you were one of the people that helped me move into this position. So we're going to talk a little bit about what my duties are.
Yeah, when I saw this and realized you were doing the interview, you know how important economic development is, and your role as the Director of Economic Development for Pikeville and searching out those opportunities, as well as business retention and expansion that is here already. But you bring a skill set to the table of the marketing, your relationships, you've been here in the area, you're building relationships with the Cabinet for Economic Development, which is so important. We get so many leads from there, building relationships with One East Kentucky, and Chuck Sexton and his efforts, because he is a local economic development organization that serves this area. And they were in Paris at the air show just 2 weeks ago and had 23 meetings in 3 days, and they're doing follow-ups on those. And when you getting on board, being able to be the voice of the city of Pikeville, that helps spur that growth, and as well as looking at the tenants that we've already got. And that retention and expansion is something that's vitally important that a lot of economic developers overlook. You do have to look at that job growth, job creation, businesses coming in, but you've also got to look at your existing ones. And we'll talk about some of that with some of the programs we've started in the city a little bit later.
I think one of the most important things as an economic developer that speaks to me is that you have to develop relationships with not only the businesses that are wanting to locate in your area and making sure they understand what you have to offer and all the wonderful opportunities that can be brought to their company, but certainly you can't forget the people who brought you to where you're at. No. And that's your local businesses, and having those relationships and being able to build upon those relationships to make sure that they know that we're here to help them too, and to keep them there is something that is very important to me and my work efforts. And then certainly, like you said, with Chuck Sexton and being at the air show a couple weeks ago, we had great conversations about some of the meetings that he had there. And you know, he's always pushing our area and pushing Pikeville, and certainly will be instrumental in making sure that we have the types of businesses here that will spur our growth for years to come. So,
yeah, and you're right in the middle of that, and with your relationships that you've already built from your past experiences of being here and understanding the city, and your skill set that I think will help this region flourish with those relationships with the cabinet and the others that are so vitally important of reaching out and being able to bring that market into this area and let them realize what we have, because we have a tremendous workforce.
We do.
That is loyal and problem solving and ready to work in many areas that hopefully we can help them out.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to let them know. So thank you for allowing me as a commissioner to take on this role. It's something I'm very excited about and have really enjoyed the past couple of months, and certainly looking forward to a dynamic future. So it's going to be an exciting time. And one of the jewels that we're going to have to offer to people and businesses as we recruit businesses to our areas, our Kentucky Enterprise Industrial Park. And if I go up there some days and I just look around and think what a future is going to be on that site. Silverliner is already there. I know that some of their employees have told me that it's just going to be a couple of weeks before their business offices move into that location. Of course, production's been there since April, but it's an amazing facility and an amazing piece of land.
It is, and it's something that our predecessors looked at, and when Mayor Justice went up and looked and told Donovan that this is the future of the city, and today's view is not the future that he saw. I mean, he realized that it needed to be changed a little bit from a housing area for the city to an industrial park, and it's coming to fruition. I mean, so, like you said, Silverliner is producing trucks there now. We're working and have the right-of-way acquired for the new access road, or the primary access road that will be going into that area. The access road that's there will be there as a secondary access for employees that can use it, or others going up. But we've got starting to mobilize equipment to work on that road. And hopefully we've had positive indications about getting another spec building up there to have the next tenant coming in. So things are moving forward. Silverliner is there, like we said. The building is a beautiful facility. I encourage you to go up and look at it and see what's up there, and realize that it's starting to develop.
Yeah, we're really excited about the likelihood of, and I'll say it that way, of the grant coming through to be able to construct that 60,000 square foot spec building that can be used for everything. It's going to have everything that a business will need to start, and with expansion, room for expansion as well.
Yes.
So I look forward to that building taking shape, and certainly then other buildings to come in the future. Something that not at the industrial park, but certainly downtown growth is something that we really are focused on as well. And we have talked for a couple of months about a new program, our downtown business incentive program. And it's not just for new businesses or people who think that they may want to start a business, but it's also for existing businesses as well. We have a vibrant, walkable downtown that is heavily traveled by foot any time of the day, but certainly in the evenings too. And so some of these incentives are geared toward businesses staying open a little bit later. So if we have events downtown that our people can go or visitors, of course, to the downtown area can view. So we're going to talk about a few of those incentives. And the first one is we do want to mention that 3 businesses have already been awarded some of that incentive money. And I want to let you talk about who they are.
It's so vitally important to get those businesses at street level.
Absolutely.
So that we can move the professionals up one level, and a lot of these incentives do that. Remarket what we've got there, because the downtown area, like you said, it's a walkable area that those businesses can thrive at when we get that pedestrian traffic.
The incentive programs,
Right.
Broken Throne, Southern Biscuit Grill, and Lincoln Road Coffee Shop are 3 of the businesses that have already received some grant money from the downtown business incentives, and they have been awarded the same amount of money for a lot of different things.
Yeah, they've been awarded for, and they have to produce a business plan.
They do.
There's things that they have to do. It's just not facades. It's not just putting money into lighting. They have to produce a business plan. They have to agree to stay open to later hours. They have to look at how we marry it up to the Appalachian Wireless Center and other events occurring downtown. But there's beautification micro grants, facade signage, and restaurant incentive grants that are there. There's also others.
Yeah, the restaurant incentive grant is something I do want to mention and touch a little bit more on. If you are someone who is interested in opening a restaurant, there's a $5,000 grant within this incentive program to help reimburse you for equipment, furniture, and other tangible assets. So, it can be very expensive to start a restaurant, very, very expensive, but that $5,000 will go toward the purchasing of those types of equipment. And then, of course, the rent subsidy program too, reimbursement of tenants, 50% of their rent up to a maximum of $400 a month. So that really starts to take some of that burden off your plate.
Yeah, and many businesses, whether it's downtown or other places, that start up in the first little bit is what is the crunch and trying to make ends meet. So we're trying to look at those and see how we can incent those people and help them along with those types of programs, and it encourages new businesses to come into town.
And then, like you said too, not just the newer businesses that are being developed, but we have a lot of property owners that have been downtown and in their businesses for a long time, and there are also incentives available to help those businesses as well.
Right, and the reassessment moratorium, city property tax abatement that is available, commercial property rehabilitation programs. We've got lending programs. We've got historic budget facade programs, open lake grants to encourage. I mean, if you haven't been downtown in the last few months or here through this season of Friday night and see what's going on downtown on Main Street, come down and see what it is. And when all those businesses are open, you can drive it when there's not an event and see how much traffic. And we've done a lot of things to encourage that foot traffic. And we want to do more to encourage and look at what's at U-Pike, because there's a lot of young adults up there, and how we can get them off the hill to spend more time downtown in the city.
Yeah, and that's something that we're really focused on as we recruit new businesses to our downtown area, that will benefit from the foot traffic of, like you said, the young adults that are there that are coming in. Of course, U-Pike has grown so much in the last few years. It's totally different vision now of what we can put downtown, because we do have that younger generation that are using your restaurants, your coffee shops, and certainly with Dueling Barrels being downtown, and then you have Rustic Roots and really the artsy feel of what is being created downtown. Everybody can use it, especially the guys and gals on the hill.
Yeah, I mean, they're vital to the market downtown as well as the enormous population at PMC that's coming into town that they draw. So one of the things that we're targeting is, like we talked about, is street traffic and getting those professionals upstairs and putting the businesses downstairs. And there's upper level subsidy grants that are there that we can assist with doing that. But as we've stated before, you can talk to the city offices, Menta, and others to make those calls and see how we can help and how we want you to bring that business here.
Yeah.
And those are the statements that I think is most important.
And we want to do everything we can to help you. And certainly if you are joining us today and you have questions about any of our downtown business incentives, you can call Minta. She's our Main Street Director. You can call me at my office, 437-5108. I can walk you through everything that we have to offer. And even if you just have some questions about maybe starting up your business, we have a lot of people through SOAR and through Morehead State University Small Business Development Center that can certainly help you with those business plans and put you on the right path and help you out.
Yeah, and your part of your role with that retention and expansion, it's not just for the new businesses, it's about expanding the existing businesses and how we can help draw a new market into those, and you're an excellent resource for that.
Well, I appreciate that, and we are just we're really working to grow our downtown area and especially to the outskirts of the downtown area, because we want people to visit us. We want businesses to want to locate in Pikeville and see the value that we have to offer, and never forgetting the workforce that we have here in our community. Bob Shurtleff, Pikeville City Commissioner, thanks so much for your time today.
Well, thank you.
This has been the Pikeville City Commissioner's Report. Thank you so much for joining us.